Hello, I'm Thomas Haire, Chief Content Officer of the Performance Driven Marketing Institute, a not-for-profit trade association that serves companies in the performance and direct-to-consumer marketing world. Welcome to the latest episode of Take 20, created by the PDMI's Brand Response Council. These 20-minute live conversations featuring leaders in the performance marketing world speaking about the hottest topics in the industry are scheduled twice a month. Before we get to today's conversation, a housekeeping note. We will be addressing any questions from the audience at the end of the session, but you don't have to wait to ask. Utilize the questions tab on your control panel to type and send your question in. We'll be collecting them and we'll try to get to as many as possible in the final moments of the episode. Today's episode is a preview of PDMI West, the association's upcoming event at Hard Rock Hotel San Diego on October 24th through 26th. Just think, Chris, that 2 weeks from today we'll be celebrating the end of PDMI West.
Right.
We're just 12 days away. What can attendees expect from this much anticipated event? With 10 educational sessions and a series of networking events, PDMI West will again feature the kind of education and networking that members and past attendees have grown to love. It's a really crowded schedule. What are going to be the standout moments of the show? Well, our venerable Take 20 host and chair of the PDMI's Brand Response Council, Modern Postcard's Chris Foster, is here to serve as your surrogate by asking me questions about what the PDMI team has planned for the event. All right, Chris, let's do it.
All right, well, thank you so much, and we're so excited. Of course, myself and my business Modern Postcard is headquartered here in San Diego, so we love having everybody kind of at home field. So we're very excited to have folks coming down and from all over the country, seeing people, meeting good friends, and most importantly, making those business connections and those networking opportunities so that you can find your next great customer or learn how to serve your next great customer with the partners available through the PDMI. As a note, Modern Postcard is also a sponsor, and we will have a table there as well. So if you have questions about integrated direct marketing, we'd love to talk to you about how we can help you grow and retain your customers and add that to your overall marketing mix. But before we get to all of that work stuff, come on, let's talk about that first new attendee mixer, right? We have some meeting hall openers on Monday. We've got a new mixer on Monday night. So Tom, talk about how you're going to welcome some of the new folks to PDMI.
Yeah, we've been working at this, as you know, Chris, through our councils and to actually all the entire PDMI membership and trying to drive new attendees to the event. And we are having an exclusive new attendee mixer that's going to take place on that Monday evening at Woodstock, which is an outdoor space on the 4th floor of the Hard Rock. The new attendee mixer will feature, the opportunity is out there for everyone who's a brand new attendee to a PDMI event. To attend that party, along with the folks who may have invited them. We ran or are still running a complimentary badge program where PDMI members can invite select clients or cohorts or even targeted clients to join us if they're a first-time attendee. So the party will host both the invitor and the invitee from that group. We're also going to have members of all of our PDMI councils on hand in that group to say welcome. You guys are our best ambassadors for the PDMI. So that's going to be it's a rare thing for the PDMI. It's actually a limited attendee event, but it's a way for the new attendees. I mean, you know, Chris, you've done trade shows. You know how hard it can be when you show up and you don't know anyone, and it seems like everybody knows everybody, and
Right.
You're kind of feeling on the outs. Well, that's the idea of this night one, is to give these folks a base, give our new attendees a base of folks that they know that they can carry into Tuesday and Wednesday and go through the rest of the event and see a friendly face, make a new contact. So that's where we're at Monday night, 5 to 6:30 should be a great time for everybody.
That's fantastic. And what I like about that home base of folks is that those are some anchors that you connect with throughout the show. But what we love about the PDMI community is how gregarious they are in introducing other people to other people. So it's an easy jumping off point. And then what I think is fantastic too is on Tuesday morning, first thing in the morning, the meeting hall is open. So what's going on in the meeting hall? What kind of action should people expect there?
Yeah, so our meeting hall, you know, we open for a partial day on Monday, and then we're open full day Tuesday and Wednesday from 9 to 5. And you know, at Modern Postcard, as you guys know, you have a sponsored table. I think they're one of 15 or 16 sponsored tables. We're gonna be hosting meetings in there. Get a little buzz going by having your meetings in there. The other half of the meeting hall is kind of open meeting area, high tops. Rounds, seats for people to sit and get their meetings going. Place for people to interact and merge. We'll have free coffee, tea, soda, water all day, beginning at noon on Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll have a beer and wine complimentary as well, thanks to our sponsors. 212 Direct is the coffee sponsor, I believe, and Hybrid Media Services is our sponsor for the bar. So come in the afternoon, grab a beer, connect, meet. That's going to be a great time. I think we love to give that home base feel to everybody again, and this is just another way for us to do that.
Yeah, and what I like about the meeting hall opening is you get into, you can schedule meetings to meet people there that you wanted to connect with, but also see the folks who have the sponsored tables, and then get your coffee and muffin. And first off on Tuesday, Tom, what old is new? The digital DTC marketers discovering the scale of TV. Love to talk about and learn more about what people can expect from that panel, because as the digital marketing changes, one thing remains constant, and that's the power of television.
Yes, no doubt. I think Tuesday is our PDMI Council Education Day. So you'll note if you go to the PDMI's website, pdmi.com, and dig into the educational sessions out there, you'll note that all of the sessions that day are created by one of our member councils, and this is the e-commerce council's entrant. We kicked around this idea for a while, and you talk about digital direct-to-consumer marketers tending to, if they have great success, eventually hit a wall where they can no longer scale digitally. And what's the answer? It's still television. It might be connected TV, it might be linear TV, it's going to be a mix. This session really is going to get into that idea. Ron Stivley from Canella Media is a real expert in this area. Used to work and be a leader at All Star Marketing, and in his role at Canella is a real leader in bringing people across like this. Jason Manley from Core Health is a marketer, a brand marketer himself, who's facing this journey right now. I'll say this, Greg Silvano of Biased, who's our moderator of that session, he's neck and neck with you, Chris, in being our best moderator that we have. So hopefully
he's got a better beard, though, without a doubt.
Yeah, hopefully we create a horse race between your session and his, and who's gonna do better. But it's a great way to kick off the show. Great conversation. It's a conversation that is as old as performance and direct consumer marketing is, and will continue, for evermore, it feels like. But where is it right now? We're gonna try to answer that question.
Excellent. And then right after on Tuesday, the hits keep on rolling, because we talk about kind of regulatory hot topics. And I know some people might think, oh my gosh, these are dry topics, but I'm telling you, regulation, privacy, even things that we're going to be talking about later on Monday, these are really critical issues to sink your teeth into.
They are, and the Government Affairs Council has been hard at work for us. They've done a great job. The PDMI was able to contribute a comment during the public comment period of the FTC's new look at their .com disclosures, the digital advertising regulations that they're looking at right now, mainly due to this group. We're going to be talking. The FTC is extremely active right now. There's a lot going on in the regulatory space. Not to mention, as the federal government somewhat fails in trying to enact federal data privacy standards, the state of California kind of remains a leader in the federal and data privacy, which makes it kind of the de facto federal law at this point. So we're going to be getting into all these topics at that session. And again, like you said, Chris, it leads into some of the other stuff that we'll be talking about later in the calendar, privacy and all of these other different concerns.
Well, and what I think is so interesting about talking about data privacy is that the privacy regulations go hand in hand with new technologies and new tactics. And the very next session actually broaches that with a new technology, or actually old as new technology, of QR codes, right? And introducing that type of tactic into the digital marketing space.
Yeah, I mean, man, QR codes have blown up, haven't they? I feel like we all felt we were seeing them in like 2014, 2015, 2016. They kind of disappeared, right? And then the pandemic came, and where'd you all see them first? Restaurants. Menus? Yes, and where are you still seeing them? Restaurant menus. But the ease of use now with cell phones and the cameras and how they work has really brought them back. And man, they made a big splash into television. That's what we're talking about here. We've got Flowcode, which is one of the key vendors in this space, and has had tremendous success teaming up with a number of marketers, not just in this space at all, but in the wider world. I was at the Rams Cowboys game on Sunday, and every QR code they showed on the video board was a Flowcode. So congratulations,
nice.
flow code. But yeah, it should be a really great session about how direct consumer marketers are integrating QR codes into their television campaigns. And we've got a brand, we've got the technology partner with Flow Code, we've got an agency, and we've got another technology partner in Extreme Reach, who is one of the sponsors of the show, but is also moderating this panel, that is really responsible for integrating the Flow Code into the campaign right before it goes to the outlet. So it should be a great conversation. Yeah.
As a quick note, I'm a big Marvel Studios fan and big Marvel Comics fan, and so what they've been doing with the new Marvel Studios television programs is that they always have a QR code in the show, and if you link to the QR code, it usually goes to the issue of the comic that it connects to. So I love the interactivity that is happening now with QR codes. So how it changes media attribution is going to be wonderful, a really terrific topic. And then on Monday afternoon, Tom, it looks like there's a little bit of a gear switch, but another take on attribution, right? Not just QR code attribution, but actually attribution across the U.S. Hispanic sector.
Yeah, we are continuing a conversation that kind of started at the show in Miami in March with the U.S. Hispanic sector, and how attribution is really a two-pronged situation when you're in the Hispanic market, because you have the bilingual nature of it. What media is responsible for driving that lead, or what media is responsible for driving that sale, which outlet, which language, so forth and so on. There's lots of challenges. We had a great conversation in March in Miami, and we're going to continue that here. We've got partners from Telemundo and from NBCU Telexidos who are going to be part of this, as well as two agency leaders. Really seen some of the slide deck stuff that NBCU and Telexidos has provided. Really interesting stuff. You think attribution is complicated with a single language campaign. Man, look at it here. And this, look, this is a huge and growing market. We're talking, getting close to 30% of the U.S. market at this point. So it should be a really interesting conversation. We are still looking to add one more speaker here. Could be a wild card. Join us at the end. So when you get to the show and pick up your program, there will be a QR code in your program where you can find out about any of the updates to the schedule, and you can also find all the speaker bios with a different QR code that'll be in the program. So keep your eye out for that.
That's awesome. And then on Monday, we wrap it up with actually the Brand Response Council panel. So very excited about this, folks. This is where we're going to talk about how cutting edge marketers navigate the regulatory maze. We talked earlier in this broadcast about the challenges of the federal versus the local regulations and how that changes or adjusts, and the tensions that exist, especially in industries like CBD, online gambling, and others. So we are going to actually be meeting with masters of their craft. We've got Linda Goldstein from Baker Hostetler on the legal side of it. We've got Dan Kelly from Brightline, an emerging new CTV business. Les Collegian, he's CEO of not only his own agency, but his own CBD brand, Raw Botanics. So we're going to hear it directly from the brand CEO, the challenges that he's facing with the regulatory maze for CBD products. And we're rounding it out with Cody Tesnow from Composite Agency, who works directly with CBD brands and has a clue in to some of the new and emerging industries that are coming in that also will require some regulatory review as kind of what they call alternative medicines, and working and directly competing with big pharma. So we're going to tackle some new ideas, consider some paths to pursue, talk not just about the obstacles, but about how to overcome the obstacles, and of course answer questions. So really looking forward to having you guys participate in that panel.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be great when you guys have put together a heck of a panel there, Chris. Well done.
Oh, thanks. We're excited. And then that night, Tom, I'm sure that there's something going on afterwards. All the day of learning, a day of toil. You need an evening of pleasure, right?
Yes, absolutely. Our first big all access party that night at Float, which is the fourth floor kind of poolside bar and lounge that they have at the Hard Rock. Gorgeous spot. Should be a great place to catch the sunset early in the party and meet up with your fellow attendees. We expect this to be probably the biggest social event of the week. Should be tremendously well attended, and we take pride in our networking events, and we're looking forward to hosting this one. Thanks to our folks over there at Extreme Reach for supporting it.
Absolutely. No, really, really, really grateful for Extreme Reach to hosting that sundown shindig. And then
Hmm.
hopefully afterwards, folks can enjoy some of San Diego and then get ready for the very first event on Wednesday, which is a new event that you guys have set up, right?
It
A
is, and
special breakfast.
it is. It's a big thanks to Yangaroo and to Cody Tunney there, who obviously we know well. Chris, she's on the Brand Response Council. Cody and Yangaroo have teed up a women's leadership breakfast for the first 35 women attendees, badged attendees of PDMI West to RSVP to. It's going to be a great conversation about challenges, about obstacles, about accomplishments, and you know, there's a huge core of female leadership in this business. We're happy to cover it in our September issue of results with 11 leaders from media agencies, all women, taking part in a small Q&A that was designed to help promote the session that's happening at 11 o'clock later in the morning. We'll talk about that in a minute, but we are almost full up to the 35. But if you want to have a chance to attend, reach out and we'll get you the link and try to get you in. Should be a great event and a great idea from the team at Yangaroo. Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I love it. And then right afterwards, the hits keep on coming, right? Agency leaders
Mhm.
at the forefront of today's challenges. I think that everyone knows that there's some uncertainty as it relates to, bids, spend, budget, if the ad landscape is softening, if not, how is it pivoting? And these folks are going to be tackling those big questions.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you've got here is, and we're kind of bookending the day here with this session, and then the final session at 4 o'clock with the media outlets. They're going to be tackling a lot of the same topics, and it's a lot of thought leadership. It's more big picture than your traditional agency roundtable or your traditional media outlet roundtable. There's a lot of talk about recession. There's a lot of talk about macroeconomic trends that are shifting and could be changing the way that the industry works over the next 12 to 18 months. These are the people on the front lines. They're on the ground. These leaders, first of all, from these major agencies, Tatari, Juice, TCA, who are big players on the agency front in direct response and direct to consumer media. So we're thrilled to have them on the stage. It's the first time we've had any of these three agencies on our stage, which is huge. I think it's
That's
going to be a
great.
great conversation. We got a great moderator, Daniel Rodick from Agora Brands. He was actually on our stage last year as a speaker, a completely different topic, but he's a bright guy. It's going to be a great conversation. So we're looking forward to it.
That's fantastic. And so what I love about you just mentioned with the Women Leadership Breakfast, it looks
Mm-hmm.
like at 11 o'clock, we're talking about, women media executives and some of the present and the future of performance marketing from their point of view.
Right. So Fern Lee from Thor Associates, who's a part of our e-commerce council, she brought this idea to the table. I think she might have brought it to the table for San Diego before Miami. I think it might be that far back, but she was really excited about the opportunity and the idea here, and we loved it. So what you have here is four women who are at essentially the president, managing partner, C level of their agencies, talking about the current media landscape, the future of performance marketing, relating their experiences. It was really we took for the cover story that I mentioned in results earlier. We took just 3 of the questions that Fern was planning on asking this group and presented them out to a wider group, and got some really interesting answers. So, I mean, she's got another 5, 6, 7 questions she's going to share with them. It should be a really interesting and exciting panel. So we're looking forward to that one as
That's
well.
wonderful. And then we've got finally these last 3 educational sessions. The first one, which I love and I think is so topical and germane and connects nicely to the data privacy questions and conversations from the day before. It's about first-party data.
Mhm.
And as we know, Google Mageddon's coming at some point in time. We're not quite sure about, and they keep pushing it back. However, the first party data is something that most brands and media companies now are really getting excited about. That looks
Yeah.
like it's a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what everyone seems to be striving for now is having as much access to first party data, but also got to be safe with it, right? You got to know what you're doing. You're gonna have a lot of companies out there who suddenly are like, we're controlling our own data, but don't know what to do. The guys at Count, another sponsor of the event, are experts in fraud prevention and data privacy and these things. They put together a nice group. Matt Farr from Accenture Song, Greg Silvano. We'll see if he's as good a panelist as he is a moderator. We'll find
I'm
out.
sure he is.
But yeah, this should be. I think this is going to be a really interesting session for everybody on hand. And it ties together some of the regulatory stuff that we had on Tuesday. It kind of ties into what's next after that with the media measurement ad tech solutions. So it's a nice, I mean, what data, privacy, attribution, media. I mean, this is all interconnected, right?
Absolutely. Well, what I like about how the educational sessions are set up, Tom, is that you're right. Everything is connected. And if you look at these various stars of what you just mentioned, it's a constellation of a picture of how these different parts of the industry are connected. But each education session kind of dives into each one of them, because you can't talk about the big picture with every session. So at 2:30, we're talking about media measurement and new ad tech solutions. That's a really nice deep dive into one of those stars that are really important to the constellation of performance marketing.
This was an important session for us to pull together, particularly at this time. Nielsen having the issues they had last year, and it seemed like, it always seems like there's a zillion ad tech companies out there, right? And it always seems like there's a lot of media measurement companies. But as soon as Nielsen started facing issues last year, it seemed like every ad tech and media measurement company spawned 17 others. And they're like, so what's going to be the currency of TV advertising? How does that tie into how these folks attribute their digital multi-channel campaigns? All of this is extremely germane to what's happening right now. We're very lucky to have iSpot TV joining us. iSpot, which is a member through their company DR Metrics, but iSpot served as currency for NBCU in the upfronts this year. Was that Viant, another kind of bridge ad tech media measurement company that bridges between TV and digital, and AJ Brown from LeadsRx, who's LeadsRx is one of the best attribution firms in the business. Yeah, AJ spoke last year with Rakuten on our stage, tremendous speaker, and the three of these guys together looking at this topic, it's just going to be, I think it's going to make for a stellar event where people are going to really learn and be given things to think about as they think about how they operate their attribution, how they from start to back, what's really of value when you're looking at measuring your TV success, what's really of value at the back end, not just top end of the funnel, but at the bottom end of the funnel.
Right, and what's interesting about it is so much of this industry comes back to measurement, right? And then what I think is a perfect segue to the very last kind of the capstone session we've got as Media Outlet Roundtable, because in the end, all the metrics are important, but you've got to have the media. You've got to have the ability to actually get the promotions out there. And this is a fantastic group that you've got.
Yeah, it should be great. We're looking to add one more here. We're still working at it. But Mark Sullivan from Paramount, Maria Kennedy from Family Entertainment Television. Maria, obviously with the years of service in this industry, just like Mark. And again, this is a bookend with that agency roundtable up at the start. We want to hear from the media outlets on what they think is happening on a macroeconomic level. Is the ad landscape softening? Is that going to give opportunity to performance and D2C marketers as it has in the past? How are clients finding ways to maintain or even increase a return on ad spend as they look at the options between linear and streaming TV? Where's that balance going to land in 2023 between linear and streaming? Obviously, before we went on air, we were talking about how Netflix has selected their measurement partners because they're going to sell ads. What effect's that going to have on these folks?
Absolutely. And what effect does it have on other streaming services, right? I mean, so as soon as that happens, there's a wake that usually happens after the big boat moves into these waters, right? Who's going to be in that wake, and how does it affect other brands?
Absolutely.
That's
So
an
yeah,
absolute full day. And then finally at the end though, I think that there's because PDMI is a pretty fun group. We can't end it without a little wrap-up cocktail party.
yeah. For I guess so. Again, from 5:30 to 7:30 on that last night, we're gonna close things out. We're gonna ask everyone who's out there, bring your favorite rock band T-shirt, concert T-shirt. We're having it's a Hard Rock Hotel. We're at 207, which is their lounge indoors on the lobby level. Great spot for the Rockstar reception presented by Lockhart and Wexler Direct. Should be a fun time. Grab your favorite concert T-shirt, a pair of jeans. Feel comfy, feel good. Have a couple cocktails and close it out in style. I think it's going to be a fun night. A great way to send everybody off. So
That's right.
Tremendous.
Very excited, and just as a San Diegan, really excited to have everybody here. Like I said, kind of at home field, finding a pocket of time. Hopefully, you guys can people flying out from the central part of the country or the East Coast. Hopefully, you take an extra day or two to enjoy San Diego and all the sites we've got here. And if you do have questions, of course, you can find me, and I know all the places to go in San Diego where you can enjoy yourself. So Tom, so excited, looking forward to that. John, do we have any questions from anyone about what they can expect or what items that we didn't cover?
Well, John has been sending through some questions, and
great.
I see them right here. So I'm going to take a look at them. Can you let us know a little bit more about the complimentary badge program and how it works? And will you offer it again in 2023? Yes. So the complimentary badge program is something we tested out with this show. All PDMI members are eligible to participate. You need to basically reach out to John or myself or your contact at the PDMI and say, hey, I've got someone who's never been to the show. They're with X company. Would they be a fit for this? This is really designed to bring brands, ad tech companies, agencies, and the media measurement companies, these larger companies who may not have experienced a PDMI event to the show to experience it. So what happens then is John and I give you a thumbs up on that person. We send you the link and they're allowed to register for free. We will be continuing it at Miami in 2023. It's been a good test run here. We are still accepting folks in for this show. So if you're out there and you have someone you think might want to come, might be a fit, reach out to myself or to John, and we'll do our best to get them in. You talked about drinks. Will there be food on the show floor? Yes. New addition this year on Tuesday and Wednesday. If you take a look at our education schedule, there's a break between noon and 1 in the education schedule. For that 1 hour on Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll be offering a complimentary grab and go lunch on the show floor. So if you're crazy busy, can't get away for lunch with a client, you're stuck in your meetings at your table because Chris, you got such a crazy schedule, you'll be able to pop up, walk over and grab a quick grab and go lunch to have there. So we'll have some food on the show floor there Tuesday and Wednesday for lunch. Thanks to PDMI for pulling together a first-class educational series. Thank you. At this year's show. How can my company get more involved in future educational sessions? The best way to get involved is to become a member and to get into one of our councils. As you can see, half of the sessions are created by the councils, and I'll take the 5 on Wednesday. You've got council members galore running throughout them and taking part. So our councils are really responsible. I mean, Take 20, we're watching it right now. Grant Response Council is responsible for this. If you watched our fall seminar series last Thursday, workshop council's responsible for that. Get involved. Councils. We want you here. We want you to take part. That's the best way to get involved, is to do that.
And as a note on that, just from my own personal / professional experience, being a part of the PDMI was great, but being a part of the council was a game changer for our involvement and the networking opportunities and developing not just the professional relationships, but the friendly and personal relationships. Because, if you see people twice a year at a conference and you meet them and chat with them for a bit, then those relationships aren't as strong as they could be or are when you're part of the council and seeing them, once a month on calls, kind of building programs together and really acting in a collaborative way. So if you are interested in being more involved, and more importantly, if you're interested in learning more about the ecosystem and meeting other professionals, the council is absolutely the way to go. And I can tell you that from personal experience.
Thank you, Chris. Chris is one of our most engaged members, one of our best council leaders. So thank you for all you do for us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
One last question. When are your 2023 shows? And I'm expecting to get that question a lot in a couple weeks. We are ready to roll in 2023. We will be in Miami Beach at the Eden Rock, March 20th through 22nd for PDMI East 2023. And we are locked in for PDMI West in San Diego next October 9th through 11th. We're going to do a hotel shift next year. The Hard Rock was kind enough to let us know that they're going to go through a renovation over the next year and might not be ready for next year. So we have the hotel selected, but we're not going to launch it just yet. We'll let you know soon. And we're looking forward to being in a new space next year, refresh for San Diego. So should be great. And with that, no more questions. Chris, thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you all out there for listening. We look forward to seeing you in San Diego. If you haven't registered, if you have any questions, anything you want to find out about PDMI West, visit thepdmi.com/PDMI-West for all the details and to register. Your next opportunity to attend a live online Take 20 episode is Wednesday, November 2nd, the week after the show, as we check in on the latest goings on with the supply chain that are affecting performance marketers. Please visit thepdmi.com/take-20 to check out the upcoming topics and register for any of our upcoming sessions. Thanks again for joining us for this episode. Thank you, Chris. Be well. We'll see you in San Diego.
San Diego. See you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.